I was adopted when I was 10 months old and brought here to the United States. My parents got to see me in a lineup of 12 children and picked me from a picture. Well, that set a great hoo-ha over the family, and they're saying, you don't know what you're going to get. So until they actually saw me, then it was okay. I always say it was the only time I've ever been in a lineup. It's the only time I ever want to be in a lineup. It seemed to work out well for me then. I went back to Greece, it'll be 3 years ago, and I had a most wonderful time. And when I got there, I found out that all this time my name is reversed. What they thought was my first name was actually my last name, and my last name was indeed my first name. And it was hysterical. We were standing in the hotel, and I'm talking to the concierge, and she just starts laughing. She said, I can tell you're Greek, but you don't have an accent, you don't talk like us, but explain. And so I did, and she started laughing, and she said, oh my dear, your name is totally reversed. So I came home and told my parents that, and it was a lot of fun. It didn't matter at all, but I just know that my name is Efthamia Kambanis instead of Kambani Efthamia. And they used Kambani as my middle name here for all my records here. So that ended up actually being my last name instead of my first name. But it was fun to find all that out. We petitioned the orphanage that I was in and got all my information. There was only 10 months worth, so that's not a lot. But they found out that I was actually 10 days old when I was put up for adoption, that I had a few things with me, a request by my birth mother that I be named Efthamia Kambanis. And there you don't really get a name until a priest comes, so they had to bring a priest to the orphanage, and they made it official. So now I'm officially messed up. Everything is officially reversed. But I had a wonderful time when I was in Greece. We walked around like we owned Athens for 6 days. We had an absolutely glorious time. We didn't go on any tours except for the last day. We went to Sunio to see the Temple of Poseidon, which was so beautiful. That was the best day weather we had, and we're sitting down in a taverna at the bottom of the hill and looking up, and the sky's blue and the Aegean is blue, and we're being served wonderful fruit and wine from the city that I was born in, Patra. And I looked at my friend Kelly and I said, I've died and gone to heaven. This is it. This is the best it could possibly be. It was wonderful. I'm glad I didn't go later because there's a lot of unrest now. But when we were there, it was absolutely wonderful. My dad went Christian Reformed for my mother, and my mother's mother went Christian Reformed for her husband, who was Catholic. So at our family dinners, you had to leave room when you said the Lord's Prayer for the trespasses and the trespasses against us, because it was all different. There's Polish, there's Greek, there's Dutch. It was a wonderful melting pot of everything. Dad is a little more vocal than Mom. Mom can be. But Dad is a little more vocal than Mom. It's just who they are and how they were raised and the difference. The biggest tradition from the Greek side was eating lamb at Easter, going to my grandmother's house, who lived right next door. It was a quick trip. None of this over the river and through the woods thing. It was just across the lot. And we would have lamb. And that was the big tradition for us to have lamb on the holidays. As far as anything else, there were really no cultural traditions or mores that we kept up with. My grandfather said, if you're here in the United States, you need to speak English. His theory was, if you're going to speak Greek, then you need to be around all Greeks and no one else, because then it would be just rude. So we weren't really taught to speak Greek at all. It was only until I became an adult that I started learning, and most of that was so that I could go on my trip to Greece and not be an absolute idiot. So I could know a few lines. The best one to know if you're going to Greece, the absolute best one to know is "Sivnome, καταλαβαίνετε αγγλικά." Excuse me, do you understand English? And that's wonderful. That will get you through anywhere. Knowing that we're Greek, they automatically assume that we're associated with food. which in our case is a very good assumption. They assume that we will have an accent, which we don't. They assume that we're earthy, and which we are, but all that stuff. But it really doesn't really make any difference. It makes no more difference than if I were Polish or Armenian or, Dutch. It makes no difference. Well, my children are awesome. I couldn't ask for better. My son, Christopher, my firstborn, he's wonderful. He's like our backbone here. He does the meat and anything else. He's our go-to guy. My daughter, Kimberly, she's my blessing. She works here too as a server. She's just little Miss Happy. She loves her job. Through her and her husband, Josh, I have a granddaughter, Sophia. Nice Greek name. She's 5. They help tremendously. Christopher will go get supplies for me when they're needed, and Kimberly is my driver. She takes all the baklava here and there and everywhere else. And they're just wonderful. It's been great working with them every day. I love it. I mean, there's not a lot of families who can say they work with each other all day, every day. But that also means that on weekends we really don't see each other much. We need a little space. Everybody needs a little space. But they're great. My baklava is 20 layers of phyllo dough. And every 5 layers, I have what I call my nut mixture. It's walnuts and almonds. I like the almonds because it gives it a little more crunch. Traditionally, it's walnuts, and I thought they're a little soft. Most baklava recipes call for a honey sauce, a simple syrup made with sugar and water, and then you throw a little honey in there for flavor, and you douse the baklava with it after it's baked. Mine is pure honey. It's wildflower honey from a local beekeeper. It's wonderful. There is no refined sugar in my baklava, neither inside nor on top. And it's light and delicate and crunchy instead of the old traditional soggy stuff. Mine isn't that. According to Weight Watchers, this is cut into a 2x2 inch square. According to Weight Watchers, that's only 4 points, which is less than half a piece of pie. So you can have this. And it's even diabetics can have some, because it will break down into sugar in your system, but it breaks down naturally. It's not a refined sugar. I use cinnamon. In my baklava, I use cinnamon. I have 2 other special orders that you can get. One is, I call it zesty, and that smells like Christmas. That has orange zest and clove along with the cinnamon. And then I have one that's called purely pistachio, which again is a special order because the price of pistachios has gone through the roof. I tell people that special occasions deserve special treats. I have all sorts of wonderful packaging for birthdays, any kind of holiday. As I said, it went for a wedding. Every piece was in a little 2x2 inch box. The ones for the shower were in clear little plastic boxes with little pink ribbons because they knew the sex of the baby. It's been great. I can do almost any holiday you can think of. It's amazing. But special occasions deserve special treats. I stay here at night, or I come in at 5 a.m. and bake. Everything is fresh. I don't hold a great deal here. I do it on demand so that it's always fresh when you get it. I've had a lot of special orders already, which has been fun, and I'm just hoping to continue on. But it's very simple, and that's what's wonderful. It's a simple, elegant little treat. It's enough for a little bit after a dinner. We have a lot of people now at the barbecue who are coming in, and they'll have their sandwich. Then they want a little baklava for dessert. It's just a little touch of sweetness, which basically is a Greek tradition. You go into Greek homes, and they'll give you a little spoonful of honey or a little jelly. It's to set the tone for the visit. It's to be a little sweet in the mouth. We're open on Monday through Thursday, 11 until 7, and on Fridays and Saturdays, 11 until 8. Pork is the #1 seller. 80% of our sandwich sales are the pork barbecue. We have awesome French fries that still have the skin on them. Pair that with a great handmade milkshake and a piece of baklava, and you have a wonderful meal.